Chaucer and Shakespeare.
Sid educated people to the beauties of the hours.
Dick Turpin would have been proud of that one.
He was a Picasso of pun and parody.
Sweating like a donkey in a savannah swamp.
He was a complete one-off.
Only one word for that, magic dots.
One fibre board, two competitors, 3 arrows apiece. It's the working man's sport turned global phenomenon.
Go! There you go! Never my names. How about that?
From the dark recesses of a public house to the bright lights of sold-out arenas, darts has hit the sporting big time.
Absolute pandemonium here. Adrian Lewis has retained his world title.
But something is missing from this year's World Championship at Alexandra Palace. Something important. The glamorous walk-ons remain. The fancy dress is back. The world's best players once again line up on the hockey. But when the first dart was thrown, a voice was missing. That of the wordsmith.
He's about as rampageous as a butterfly on a Zimmer frame.
The Geordie lip.
Up and down like a hedgehog in a hammock.
The voice of darts. Sid Waddell. His death in August from cancer not only deprived us of a singularly unique voice in the commentary box, it also left a gaping hole in a sport shaped by his unrivalled passion and unbounded enthusiasm.
The man from Snowy River would take your heart and take your liver. He's a taker, not a giver.
Much more than just a commentator, his poetic one-liners and flamboyant style helped define the glitz and glamour of modern darts. His voice may have been silenced, but his legacy will ring through the sport for generations.
He sings a love song as we roll along, walking in our winter wonderlands.
Sid grew up in the small market town of Alnwick in Northumberland. The son of a miner, Sid's parents, Bob and Martha, were ambitious for their youngest son, pushing him to transcend their working-class surroundings. He didn't disappoint. He excelled in English and history at Morpeth Grammar School, and it was during his school days that his love of darts was born, regularly heading down to the local pub after his studies for a game and a couple of pints. The extracurricular activities didn't dull his mind, though, and in 1958, he won a scholarship to read modern history at one of the world's finest academic institutions, St John's College in Cambridge. He was a keen and talented all-round sportsman at university, and his entrepreneurial skills also began to surface when he launched the first ever inter-college darts tournament. After graduating, Sid toyed with a career in academia before pursuing a job in television as a researcher for Granada in the late 60s. Quickly promoted to producer at Tyne Tees in the North East, he then transferred to Yorkshire Television in 1972 and played a key role in putting darts on TV.
So Chapman joins Phil Hubbard and Billy Leonard as spectators. Next week we'll be featuring the quarter-finals of bar billiards done it. And in the last 8, would you believe, is a woman. She's Vivian Shepherd, All-England Ladies Champion in 1975. Al Sidi.
Sid was the brains behind an ITV series called The Indoor League, where along with darts, sports like billiards, pool, table football and even arm wrestling were broadcast into the living rooms of an unsuspecting public for the very first time.
The enthusiasm was sensational. All the time he was whispering in your ear. And Sid loved the offbeat, the incongruous, the bizarre. And he wallowed in Indoor League and the characters it unearthed.
Certainly Sid was, if you like, the original spark with Indoor League. There were players there who were full of life, full of character, bounced off each other, didn't suffer falls gladly, and were showmen. And the two together was the spark for the game.
And there was a wonderful character that Sid loved when they brought in regulations which said you must wear black shoes. And this bloke played in carpet slippers. And they said to him, you're not allowed to play in carpet slippers, you've got to wear black shoes. And so he went and painted his slippers black. You see, and Sid loved that. That was absolutely straight up Sid's street. He loved all that. Indoor league never had a dull moment. It was crazy how we got away with it. We got away with 6 series, 72 programs.
He was very proud of sportsmen who came from humble backgrounds. He just thought that was fantastic, that they would overcome all odds to be successful. And you know, darts was one of the things that he really believed these guys were, as he often described them, they were indoor athletes.
The visionary behind TV darts soon also became the voice of the sport. He joined BBC Manchester in 1974, and when they added the World Professional Darts Championship to their schedule in 1978, opportunity knocked.
Working in Manchester in a completely different department was a chap called Sid Waddell, who one of my production team knew as a darts fanatic, who were very keen on darts. I realised immediately that he respected the sport and the players taking part in the sport, which is one reason why I wanted to persevere with him.
Tops for Della.
Game shot, that's the second set to Keith Della.
Sheer bewilderment on some people in the audience at the talent of young Della.
He was a complete one-off. His background, his where he was from as a kid, his accent, the way he operated.
Spotted with choke from Della's darts.
180!
The likes of John Lowe, Jockey Wilson and Eric Bristow were fast becoming the faces of the sport, but Sid was rivalling them for top billing with his unique take on darts and the English language.
Double tops.
Bristow strikes the third set to
just like the Empire.
It was Nick who always tried to keep him disciplined and focused on the action and gave him a lot of advice that he then used for the rest of his career. And I think sometimes, whether Nick would agree, he thought my dad went too far.
He took a lot of getting used to in this rather sort of posh BBC ways of commentating in those days, where you had very fixed rules. And he, in order to commentate the way he wanted to break some of those rules.
Bullseye.
game shot, that's the first set to Keith Della.
Well, they ain't exactly impartial, some of the lads here. But if you think they're excited, what are the people in Suffolk and Ipswich doing now?
Second set.
There were times when he could go over the top, and he would accept that. And there were other times when I shouldn't have put my foot on the brake, and I should just let him get on with it, because in many ways, I mean, he was a genius in the commentary box.
Double 12 for the crafty Cockney.
Yeah!
First time at Jolly's, which was the second year at the Worlds, he got that excited in the commentary. We used to have the bobble over the mic then, didn't we? And he was sick all over that. That covered full of. That was him, because he used to get emotionally, involved in it.
If you were to say, name 4 people that you would know with darts in the 80s, it'd be Eric Bristow, John Lowe, Jockey Wilson and Sid Waddell.
140!
Keith's mother has been known to do the chips with one hand and throw darts with the other.
85.
She'll throw the chip pan out the window if he wins this.
He gave us a lot more credibility, really, because we were great players, but we had a bad image, and the press seemed to jump on that a lot. But with Sid being a very intellectual person that always stuck up for us, really gave us a lot of respect that we never really got from other people. If Sid hadn't have been around with us in our sport, darts would have suffered.
He's got a few quid on Della.
...1992 was a momentous year in darts history. The top 16 players broke away from the sports governing body, the BDO, formed a new association and signed a TV deal with Sky Sports.
Oh, this is just incredible. This is some start, isn't it?
More coverage followed and greater exposure for the sport. With the best players now on the books of the Professional Darts Corporation, Sid soon followed.
Sky come in and they do the razzmatazz, the walk-on girls, people like that. Just part of the jigsaw. You put all the jigsaw together and then you get a great show.
Sid really completed the jigsaw. We had great coverage, great new, fresh approach to doing it with Sky. If we had the best players, then we needed the best commentator. It was really a quick phone call with Sid and a quick discussion over a pint of cooking lager, as he used to call it.
Commentators, Sid Waddell and Dave Lanning.
Thank you, softly spoken Jeff. Yes, it's a time for a bit of hush. Oh, absolute perfection. Wow, that's the best bit of bullying I've ever batted eyes on.
So the miner's son, who graduated from Cambridge University, found his way into sports commentary. But little did he know how much of an impact he would have on the world of darts. The sport was starting to spark into life, and Sid was the lightning conductor.
Double 12 for history! History! He's done it! He's done it!
The fellow was a genius in his own way. Anybody mentions Sid, they all smile.
He took darts from spit and sawdust to champagne and stardust.
Over the festive period, more than 40,000 people adhered to the Alexandra Palace in North London to catch just a glimpse of their heroes battling it out for the biggest prize in darts, the PDC World Championship Trophy. But while the likes of Phil Taylor, Adrian Lewis, Raymond van Barneveld, John Part and Dennis Priestley have all won darts top prize, no one has lifted this particular piece of silverware. Such was Sid's impact on the sport that after his death a brand new trophy was commissioned. The sport's grace will now face off on the hockey for the right to lift the Sid Waddell Trophy.
It's no secret to say that, you know, Sid Waddell was and is the voice of darts. You know, he's been synonymous with the success that we've enjoyed, and his enthusiasm has driven us forward, and he's been so supportive. It's just a way of us publicly saying how much we're going to miss him and how we valued his contribution to our sport and the effect that he's had on making it so successful.
Sid and the rest of the Sky production team brought a sense of occasion and glamour to the sport. A night at the darts became not so much working men's club as West End musical, with Sid in the role of leading man.
Yes! Larry Butler upsets the phone book and the pros and the experts.
Sid Waddell was the mouthpiece of that sport. You know, he was our PR machine, if you like.
Everyone who worked on the darts knew they were working with a genius.
He wants a clean, fast kill now. Would be incredible, a third once. Oh, yes! So an incredible way! What an incredulous way to finish a match!
He was the showman, you know. We were taking darts out of small little clubs into big halls in Blackpool, which is where he first started, and he loved it.
Once double six to save the match.
Games on the 8th leg. Keith Dallin.
He'll never get better. Tungsten, chuck in on your Dallin.
I've met a lot of people in television, never met anyone like Sid.
Double 12. Dave Lanning, say it, 'cause I'm gobsmacked.
He made it fashionable, he made it funny, he made it entertaining.
Once double 12.
Yes! Oh, he has stolen that one. That's a classic piece of Bristow nicking, Sid.
Absolutely. Dick Turpin would have been proud of that one.
He made the nation aware of darts.
Sid put that point across and educated people to the beauties of the errors.
He took darts from a Cinderella sport and made it the belle of the ball. He took darts from spit and sawdust to champagne and stardust.
More live tournaments, bigger crowds and increased prize money meant greater exposure for Sid. And with that came a wider audience to wow with his reimagining of the English language.
We've had the Old Testament, the New Testament. We've done Chaucer and Shakespeare. How about the Apocrypha?
His rhetoric and repartee was just in a class of its own.
You can't have all the walk-ons, the crazy walk-ons and everything else. If someone is just going to say, well, that was a great game, that really was. What a 170 finish. Superb. It'd fall flat on his face. Sid has helped the sport of darts be what it is today.
He's twitching like a ferret in a wind tunnel. He is.
Everybody said, oh, he prepares all these different lines about Gotterdammerungs and Twilight of the Gods and all this bits and that. And he didn't. Really, Sid really worked off the top of his head, and I sat next to him for 20 years.
You didn't produce Sid, you opened the cage and let him out. I could never rein him in.
One of Sid's finest moments came in Blackpool in 2002. No one had ever witnessed a live televised 9-dart finish, so it was fitting that Sid was in the commentary box during Phil Taylor's quarter-final with Chris Mason at the World Match Play Championship.
Sid had never done a 9-darter. I felt that it was he should have called it, so I shut up.
Yes, he's got it. Treble 19.
Double 12 for history! History! He's done it! He's done it! He's hit the 9-dart! 100,000 quid!
Then you see, if you listen to the commentary, Sid has called it, and then he has shut up and allowed me to say,
Well, you have to agree, that is a moment in television history, the first live 9-dart finish.
Sid was very unselfish and gave me that, so we came across as a duo, as a pair.
Phil Taylor was closer to Sid than most. A friendship that was established in the 1980s on the BDO circuit. Sid commentated on most of his world title wins and worked with Taylor in writing his biography.
Double 16s for the big one! So Phil, the Power Taylor, is world champ for an unbelievable 15th time!
I've probably known Sid more or less half my life. He's like part of my family, really, Sid was. You know, he probably knew more about myself than what I did myself, if that makes sense. He was just very, very clever. He had piles and piles of research he collected off newspaper cuttings. You know, I said to him, can I have them? Because he got everything. All little things marked out. He knew exactly about everything, about everybody.
What's this fella's name? Sid Waddell.
The fella was a genius in his own way, and then a bit daft in other ways. You know what I mean? I remember again when Sid was writing my book, I went up to the house, and Irene, his wife, sent him the shop for 3 things, and he forgot to. I went for something like, I think she sent him for a loaf of bread, some butter, and a bottle of milk, and he came back with 5 pound of taters, a paper, and a bar of chocolate.
Hey, you kid, I bet you can't guess where I am. I'm in Ireland, the Emerald Isle. I'm at darts. I'm at the Paddy Power Darts. Phil the Power Taylor's after 60,000 punts up there. Hey, he'll stroll this 161, kidder.
Anybody mentions Sid, they all smile. Which is lovely, isn't it? A lovely way to be remembered.
I say it's the Kilimanjaro with the top blowing off. Greatest darts game ever.
Sid's influence on darts not only brought new life and colour to the sport, but TV audiences were on the up. The 2007 World Championship final between Phil Taylor and Raymond van Barneveld topped 1 million viewers for the first time.
Tops he wants.
And he gets it! Barneveld is the champion of the world!
He goes, Eric Rister's 5 title records! What a player!
The darts crowd was the new hit place in which to be seen. Even the royal family was getting involved, and the commentary box became a think tank for the high-minded.
Here we go then, Sid Waddell, B.A. Cantap, Stephen Fry's B.A. Cantap, Ronnie Harrington, University of Life, M.A., anywhere you like.
Ah, I've been Waddell. What could be better? I'm like a pig in Chardonnay, I tell you. I couldn't be happier.
Once upon a time, I cracked the jokes around here. Now everybody does it.
I've got these 2 mega intelligent people, you know, that are sitting beside me there going, like, and Stephen's coming out with his phrases and Sid's coming out with phrases, and I'm sitting there, and I wanted to say something, but inside I was just laughing my head off, and it was a crazy commentary.
Oh, he's at it again.
Some could be in.
I think he just really enjoyed the banter and bouncing off him and doing that bit of commentary with him. He was tickled pink afterwards. He was hyper. I remember speaking to him afterwards. He really enjoyed it.
Once upon a time he was breaking all records. Now he's only breaking his heart. Nothing you can do. Totally clips to the darts.
It just worked beautifully. It worked brilliantly. It's 20 minutes of very entertaining television, and he really enjoyed it.
The eccentric showman was on our screens for all to hear. But what about when the mic was put to one side?
He was the same sort of man, but the darts was an exaggerated version of himself. When at home, you know, he'd be in bed at 9 o'clock with a good book.
I can't remember a dull day with it. I can't remember a dull day. I still think he was mad as a hatter.
He had the energy of a 25-year-old. You know, you'd think he was a 25-year-old that had been in the gym every day or on the building because he was so fit and strong for his age.
Taking years. So she's coming next week. And they're in the dressing room, they hung this star.
Sid's final TV commentary was in May, earlier this year. Before going on air, he was interviewed as part of a feature on his life in darts. But his untimely death in August meant it has remained unseen until now. Even with his health deteriorating, his mind remained as sharp as the tip of a dart.
I was told by one guy, Nick Hunter, who brought snooker to television, he said, "You're the bloke with the binoculars who knows a lot about it, telling the people out there what it's about. I think I know when to shut up." Might sound funny coming from me, but if two blokes hit back-to-back 180s, you can let it run for 40 seconds on what that does to the crowd, which is part of the game's appeal.
For chugging in when I feel sick.
I think what happened to me is that I'm as nervous as anything. I shake. I have been known to be sick at times before games. But once I get in, that was a good run on me on stage. And I was terrified as I was warming up. And once the bloke said, "Get on your marks, game time." Same like that. I've got to get on telly in an hour's time. I'm ready.
Sid Waddell, the man who put darts on television.
We owe a huge debt to Sid Waddell.
He was probably one of my closest friends in darts.
He's sadly missed.
The commentator who changed the face of a working man's sport.
Sid was darts.
I feel he's still here, because I can still hear his voice.
Sid Waddell has put his fingerprints on the sport of darts forever.
The darts legend who never threw a dart.